Well, hello everybody, my name is Richard Wisher and today I'm going to give you a little tutorial on Edublocks and using Edublocks to create a turtle program in Python. So if I just move myself across the other side of the screen here so you can see me a bit better. What I want you to do is show you how this project is constructed. In particular, I want to show you some of the little tricky or nuances as you go through the project to make sure you're able to do it. So the first thing we do when we're creating Edublocks is we import three blocks, and I'll be importing bringing other blocks into the screen later on, so you'll be able to see how I do that. But here I just want to do this quickly, already set up. So the three setups is I want to import the turtle library, so I'm going to use that. Then I'm telling it I want to use turtle, and then I'm telling it how I want to use the screen. So that's my three sort of setup blocks. But the other thing I wanted to do on this project is to start using lists, which is an interesting concept, but it's also done slightly differently here. So if I go across here, select list, I bring the list into my screen and I add it in like that. Now, I don't want to call it list. I want to give it a name. So I want to give a new variable name. So I create a new variable. A new variable I want is to be colors. And unlike the text I'm working from, I'm going to use the UK or the British version of colors rather than the American. If I now give those colors, I can call them numbers, but I don't want to call them numbers. We're going to make it a bit more sensible. So I can actually just put in text. So if I do text red, comma, then open quotes are important, so purple. And then open quotes, and then comma, and then open quotes again. So this is a bit like the sort of typing you would actually see in the Python programming. So this is where you see Python starting to come through on these Edublocks, which is quite interesting. Orange. So then. As you're typing this, the typing has got to be precise because remember this is syntactic programming and you'll get some interesting errors if you put dots or any form of punctuation in incorrectly. So that's me now creating my list. Just do a quick check of that. So that looks good. And now that's the first bit all set up. So that's me now creating my initial conditions. What I now want to do is now to produce my loop. So the loop I wanted to do is I choose the loop, and I want to do I in range, and the range I want for I is to 360. Now, as you all know, 360 is 360 degrees in a circle. So there's a bit of a hint there. We're actually going to be doing this as a circular pattern. What's also worthwhile is just checking that I have an I. So let's just go into variables. And we don't have an I there, so I want to create a variable, and I want to create a variable called I. So that's then okay. So that's now giving me an I here. So that's one I can use later on. So now I want to start producing my the parts of my my loop. So I'm going to go around a circle in single degrees up to 360 degrees, and I want the pattern to form around that. So I now need to put all the rest of my commands inside this loop. So the elements that we want are, first thing we want is turtle color. We don't want the color mode, we want actual color itself, so this one. And here you have a right here where it says red, green, RGB, red, green, blue. We're going to change that, but leave that there for the moment. We want to put in width. So I want turtle width. So this now is talking about the line width. And the line width is quite interesting because we're going to use the width of the line to form a sort of an optical illusion that the pattern sort of falls into itself. I'll show that a bit later, but I think it's quite clever. And then each time we want to the turtle itself to move, and we want the turtle to turn. So we want turtle forward. And remember, depending what, and this is one where we can change the commands, changing the thing a little bit. And then we want turtle left. So if you like this, so this is then turtle forward again. So it's turtle forward. So this is the starting place for the commands that we've got here. So let's just move that up a bit, and then we'll take that up a little bit bigger so we can see it. Now what we want to do here is change the color part. So what we want to do in terms of that color is we want to now use some math. So now we move into the maths part, and we pull down this block here, and we put this block into now this is showing you. If I now show you that, you've got to make sure that's over exactly the right point, and you see the yellow behind, so that now comes in. And I don't want plus and true. I want a thing called a modulo. So if I do this and select the modulo, looks like a percentage, but it's not percentage. It's saying if I divide two numbers, am I left with a remainder? And that's what modulo means in Python. So I want to also put a variable and where that true bit is. So if I go into variables and I pick up the true and I put that in there. So we're going to make sure it's over exactly the right part. That's not working. Come on. No. I don't want it in there. I want it in there. So how am I going to do that? That way. This is a little fiddly. So we've got modulo modulo, and then we don't want true. We want 6. So effectively what we're doing here is we're saying as I changes, as it goes around the loop there, if it's got a remainder, don't do anything. If it hasn't got a remainder, don't do anything. But when it changes, then it's an absolute, in other words, it's got no remainder. So every 6 degrees, it will change color, is my understanding. You might have a better way of explaining that than I did. The I bit, the next one down, the width. So let's do the width. So this is now, again, we go back to the arithmetic operators. So the math. We pull in this bit here, exactly the same as above. So we click this one in. If we now go back to the math, we can actually make this more complicated, but instead of having it in that construct, we move this across. We put this in here. If I can do it. No, it's not going to work. So let's try this out, and let's put this one in here. And move that back into there. Okay. So now I've got a complicated math, bit of complicated math. So first thing is we want to put in the variable here. And variable in. We want the first one to be a divide. And we want to divide by 100. And then we want to leave a plus in there, that's correct. And then we want to have a 1 in this final one. So what it's saying here is let's take we want to have a width, and we want to change the width, and we want to change the width by 1. We want to change it by 1 every time we can divide 360 by 100 and not leave a remainder. So that tells you how often you've got to increase the width of the line. Then we want to do forward, and again we want to put the variable in there again. So if we choose the variable and we drop it in there, and then we want the turtle to do a turn to the left. We don't want it to turn all the way to the left. We want it to try and, if we wanted it to change every, if we want 360 divided by 60, which would give us 6, that would give us a hexagon. So we almost want a hexagon, but not quite. we actually want the line to sort of diverge, and you'll see what I'm doing later on. But if I do a 59 in there, that will make it not work. This will give us the evolution, the fractal effect within the pattern. So that's the program. That's good. So we now have a program, which if it works will be really good. If we get bugs in it, then there's another interesting sort of thing that we've got to go through. So let's just save that first of all. So we've now saved it, and now let's run it. So here we go. So we run. So we can see the Python is being loaded, Trinket's being loaded, and the pattern is not working. So we have a bug. And that's good. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see something not right. And I think let's try and work our way through what it is. So the problem is here. So I've said forward. I don't want it to go forward and then forward. I want it to go forward, and then I want it to go left. And when I say left, it then uses not 59 as a vector moving something in a direction. It's now using 59 as an angle. So it's now telling it to go left. So that's a little bug that we fixed. Interesting thing on bugs is that when you get a bug declared, it will tell you a line number. And there you're not looking at blocks, but you're actually looking at the Python code. So I'll just give you a quick look, and this is what the Python code looks like. Let's just save this first. So you can then change from blocks to Python. And this is what we've just coded in Python. So when you get an error, it comes up with a line number against it, and that's telling you what the Python error is. And you see the Python error, what it is. You don't fix it in here, though. What's important is you fix it in the blocks, and then you do it, the thing again. So that's the way you deal with errors. Let's try again. So we'll save that, just to be sure. I can't remember whether I did that. And then we run it. So here we go. We're now in Trinket, and it's now running it. The only thing that's not doing there is doing the pattern, but it's not changing the color. So we have a little problem in there. So it's not coming up as an error. It's doing as I'm telling it to do, but it's not doing what I want it to do. So we want to change the color. So what's the matter with colors? So we've got red, purple, blue, green, orange, yellow. That's as it should be. Colors. So we've got colors and color and colors. Okay. So we've missed a bit out there. So again, another good learning point. So now if I do, we go into variables, and I pick out colors. We have colors there. Bring that to here. And then I want to, hang on, that's not right. So let's do, put that way again. So what I want is this colors. There's a bit where I should have color, and then I should have another block in here, which is about colors. So I need a colors. Would it be this one? And logic, no. Oops. No. It's a light blue block. It's where we got the list, but let's have a look at list. It's list, I think. Here it is. So this one here. So we bring this one across. I couldn't quite find the one there, but that's the one we want. Here we want to change this from list to colors. And then we want to put this part. I want to collect that bit. So we want to put that part inside there. And that's good. That's good to go. And now we want to move this back into here. So it's a little bit formulaic, but I hope you can see what I'm doing. So now we've done that. So now if we save that, I think that's correct. So what's good here is you're not also seeing a bit of debugging as well. It's important. Programs will never work first time perfectly. You'll always have to debug them. So debugging is an important part of what we do. So we now save that, which I think we've done, and then we run it. So we're ready to run, and here it goes. So this time we have colors. And you can see the color pattern starting to build up. You can see the line starting to get a bit bigger. You can see also where I'm getting the fractals coming in, because instead of using 60, I was using 59. So that's not changing the direction, but we've still got essentially a hexagon, but a slightly evolving hexagon. And you can see all the different colors coming out. I'll just let this run to the end so you can actually see the full thing. You can also see it almost disappearing into the middle. So you get this sort of optical illusion because you're using different line widths and different colors. So that's our program, and I hope you've enjoyed that. This is Richard Wisher, and hope you try out Edublocks, Python, and Turtle. So thank you very much. And let's